guys, welcome to the show today. This is still Juliet. I have very interesting guests today. Her name is Abby Ajibola. She is a portrait photographer in Edmonton, Canada. I am excited to speak with her and I hope you enjoy this. Hello Abby, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Juliet.
Yeah, hi Abby. So we would like to know, photography is not something that is so common, especially for female. So we'd like to know what led you into photography.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Like Juliet said, my name is Abby Ajibola. I'm a boutique portrait photographer here in, Greater Edmonton area. How did I get into photography? I'll say I stumbled into it.
Okay.
My journey with photography started 2009. Back in Nigeria, we have what is called an NYSC, National Youth Service Corps, and I was done from the university and I had to wait like 7 months for my call-up letter.
Yeah.
And so you were pretty much a graduate, but you couldn't work, you couldn't do anything until your service year. So I had all that time to wait. And, trying to keep busy, I heard about one of my, schoolmates who was coming. I studied in Ife. I went to Obafemi Awolowo University and I was living then in Lagos. So she was coming all the way from Ife to Lagos to learn photography from someone that we happened to know. And I was like, oh, this man lives not far from me. I love his work. I think he's great. I'm like, you know what? Why not? It doesn't cost me anything.
Since you're home already.
Exactly. And it's just a few minutes, bus away from me. So, and that was how I said, okay. I just stumbled into it and I became the one who just, decided to go along with it. And that has been the beginning of the journey for me.
Wow. So, Abby, would like to know why portrait photography? There are different kinds of photography, right?
Absolutely.
Why did you pick the portraits?
Portraits. So, when I started photography, there wasn't a lot of emphasis on portrait photography. It was mostly events, weddings, that was where you were going to make the money. And photography, photography was essential to any event. So it was not if you like to, you had to. So that was kind of like the default. So back then, if you were in photography, you were most likely an event photographer. And you would do any other thing that comes alongside. But as time evolved, portrait photography became like a genre that people started becoming conscious of. You're having a birthday party, you're doing something, you want to have a birthday rather, and you want to take portraits, you want family photos. And so, I enjoyed the event, but it was a bit stressful as I also grew my family. I had 3 young children, they were, I was having my kids, as that was happening. And so it became more difficult. And so I wanted something I had more control over. Time, setup, and everything. And I've always loved portrait photography. Growing up, my mom had these beautiful portraits of us as children, my siblings and I kind of just loved it. So it worked out for me, the schedule being in more control, and I love the final result. So I think it became kind of like a natural evolution for me. Over time, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so just to kind of backtrack a bit, in Nigeria, did you do photography full time after your training, or you were doing it as a side hustle?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was for me. It was a side hustle. So when I finished during my NYSC, so I bought a camera after I did that training with this person. His name is Studio Sifri. I did training with him about 2-3 months, and then I went for my NYSC. I got a camera. My mom bought a camera for me. And then I was kind of like just taking pictures, right? I'll go to church, I'll take pictures of people, and I'll wash them like we used to see, I'll develop the pictures, and I started getting a little bit of money from it by the side while I was serving in the bank, and then when I finished, I still did a full-time job. So I worked full-time in the bank. I worked in 2 of Nigeria's largest banks at the time. But photography had always been a part of my journey. So it was always that extra income source. It was always that thing I did on the weekends and spare time. So yes, I wasn't doing it full-time in Nigeria, even though I would have loved to at that time. But I just didn't feel like I was ready or had the financial capacity at that time, given the responsibilities I had. So yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. So moving to Canada, do you kind of go through any certification, or you just started, since you already have the experience and the training, you just started your business, when you moved to Canada?
So I do have some certifications. I'm a graduate of the New York Institute of Photography. I did that, a couple of years ago. So I do have, and of course, continuous learning. I'm part of some of the largest portrait groups in the world, learning from the best and everything. However, you don't need any of that to start a photography business here. There are some jobs that are regulated where you have to write certifications and exams and stuff. Exactly. But photography is not one of them. It's something you can, as well as, pick up a camera and, start up.
Yeah.
So there's no limitation. No, you don't need to have certification on all that stuff.
Oh, that's good to know, because I've always thought, for you to own such a beautiful business, you need to get certified in Canada. Okay, so moving on, there was this campaign you did, or should I call it project, 40 over 40. What was the inspiration behind that?
Yeah, the 40 over 40 project, which I call the Bold Woman. So as women, right, I'm a woman, you're a woman, I'm guessing many of your audience probably are as well. We are nurturers, we're people that love to build, we love to build people, we love to build homes. You give a woman a house, she makes it a home. You give her ingredients, she makes a beautiful meal. That is who we are. We give and give and give. Especially when you have children, they become a big part of your world. And sometimes you can get lost in that, forgetting that you're a person as well. You can't pour from an empty cup. You need to, sometimes it's okay to pour some of that love that you so freely give everyone back into yourself, and that's the way you can best serve these people. So the whole idea was basically, women, especially when, when you're over 40, clocking 40 and over, sometimes it's different for different people. Before it used to be like, like they say, a fool at 40 is a fool forever. Kind of like, what have I done with my life? Blah, blah, blah. And this whole thing was just a reminder to say, what, your journey, your scars, your wrinkles, whatever you've earned, your flaps, whatever, everything has brought you to this stage. You earned it, celebrate your victories and your joys. It's not just about, people see aging in a negative light, kind of like that's the end. But the whole idea is like, celebrate where you are. And it was so beautiful seeing people from the person turning 40 and excited to be, a part of this, these people. Exactly.
So beautiful.
To the woman who's 77 and so grateful to have precious time with her grandkids. It's just about celebrating yourself. And especially as a woman, we find it so hard, You buy beautiful things for your kids and then you want to spend, you don't want to spend any money on yourself. And this is just a call to say, it's okay, it's not selfish. There's nothing wrong with it, Show yourself some love, celebrate your wins, celebrate your journey and your story. And it was such an honor doing this with 40 incredible women.
And you also did the Gala. Is this just the people that were in the 40 over 40 program that went to the Gala, right?
The Gala was basically, the Gala was, yes, celebrating these women. So we had this series of, so the whole essence was we had a makeover for them. So they'll come into the studio, would have, had a consultation where we're like, what would you like to wear? How, it gives me an opportunity to know who they are as a person and understand them. We do this styling consultation. There are some beautiful gowns in the studio where they get to play, dress up and everything. So on the day of the shoot, they come in pretty much for a play date, get professional hair, makeup done, get to try different outfits, take pictures in different looks and, have a little bit of like an interview and, conversation with them. So the Gala basically was now bringing everybody together. The project spanned over 1 year. And so the Gala was all these 40 women meeting each other, and then we opened it up to all women. It was a celebration of womanhood, and the theme BOLD, stands for brave, original, loving and determined. So we're here tonight for the Bold Woman Gala, and this is a celebration of women, the everyday woman, her strength, her resilience. It's a celebration of the 40 over 40 project, which I started a little over a year ago, and it's just all coming together. In here, all 40 ladies in here with some fun, just things about them and
Favorite quotes? What would you tell your younger self? It's a fun read and absolutely gorgeous.
For me, these were some key attributes that I saw in these women. I mean, I met, there were so many like cancer survivors, some people going through, like a terrible divorce and are coming out stronger. Some people are just excited that they're turning 60 and this part of their life. So the gala was definitely for everyone to come celebrate these incredible women and, women as a whole.
Oh wow! So is there any other campaign or project you're working on right now, or we should just glue to your page and see what comes up next?
For sure, stay glued to my page. Yes, the 40 over 40 project will be having a special edition this year.
Okay.
So it's gonna be, we're having another round going on. Actually, the campaign is actually starting, and so we already have a few women who have jumped on, right, and it's filling up fast. But yes, we're still doing the 40 over 40 campaign for this year, and this is a special one because I also happen to be turning the milestone this year.
Wow, congratulations.
So, thank you. So yeah, so in 2024 I'll be turning 40 and we're gonna have another set of 40 amazing women joining on this project.
Yeah, the first one you did had 40 slots. Is there like a maximum slot for this?
Yes, we're keeping it to 40 as well, and some spots have already filled up.
Yeah.
So, but we still have we're still taking it because we're still early in the project. But again, because it's based on numbers, the 40 spots could be filled up in 2 months. It could be filled up in
tomorrow.
6 months, exactly, or tomorrow. So. Yeah.
Okay, so for someone who wants to come and take photo shoot, come and have great time, do you have like a stylist or designers who can dress up the person for the photo shoot?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I have a stylist and you're looking at her.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I don't do it all by myself, but so when it comes to the makeup, I do have a team of professionals that do that for you. I don't handle that. But when it comes to the styling consultation, I do that. So we get to sit down, and the styling consultation for me, it's beyond just the clothes and everything. It gives me an opportunity to know them as a person, your personality. Anybody can take beautiful pictures, but you want pictures that are authentically you.
So you like connecting with your clients first.
Absolutely. And back to that question, two of my superpowers, I'd say, which makes which I get from feedback from people, and also makes the experience very different when you come to Memoirs Photography by Abby, is that I love to connect with people, and I think I do that quite well. So that connection is very key. And then also posing, getting flat rate angles, and just making it just fun, right? So directing is such a big part. People, the biggest thing I hear, I don't know how to pose, what do I do with my hands? What do I do with my hands? What do I do? I'm like, don't worry, just listening ears, just mirror me, just look at what I do. And when they're done and they see the images, they're like, oh my gosh, I did this. Is this me? But yeah, so it's that simple. So I definitely, my whole idea is it should be stressless for you. I'm the professional. I'm the one to make you photogenic. I'm the one to make you comfortable. Your photographer, it's your photographer's job, to make sure you look good in the images, not you. So it just depends on how that directing and that connection and everything is done.
Okay. And for our folks out of province, do you do out of province photo shoots as well?
Oh yes, I've done some trips. Like I've been to Fort McMurray for a session. McMurray is still in Alberta. So yeah, McMurray, yes. Yeah. So I was flown down there, and then we had that session. So for sure, I'm definitely open to that in terms of having a session for a client, for sure.
Okay, so if you want to reach Abby, we'll give the link to her website and Instagram. So what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, my Instagram and handle is at Memoirs Photography. So memoirs_photography, so that's MEMOIRS _photography, and my website is www.memoirsphotography.ca.
Alright, so I'll also leave that in the description box in case you need to click and chat her up. Okay, one last question everybody would like to know: is photography lucrative?
Yeah, absolutely. If it wasn't, I wouldn't be here. It is definitely very lucrative. However, what I tell people is, like everything, to be honest, there is nothing that is not lucrative. You just have to be, you have to stay the course. If I told you that if you start photography today, you start making money by the next year or whatever, I'll be lying to you, because it's very expensive. It's very expensive. It takes a lot of learning. Last year, earlier this year, I was in Phoenix for a conference. It cost me quite a couple of thousands of dollars to do that, but I decided that was the right time for me. It was important. You needed to network, education and stuff. The constant education never ends, so, and there's just so much equipment and things depending on the kind of style you're doing. So it's expensive, but at the end of the day, if you stay the course, you keep improving yourself, work on your mind and self-value. That is so critical, and it's not peculiar to photography. It's for any kind of business and even career. If you don't believe you're worth something, you can't charge it, and you can't demand people of it because you don't believe it anyway. So it's definitely lucrative, but it's not a quick. It's not something that quick for sure. You have to love it enough to see it. Exactly. It's a process.
All right, thank you, Abby, for the wonderful advice. Thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate it. We hope to meet you some other time to discuss more. And mind you, I saw a lot of awards on your website, so you're doing great for yourself. We're happy about that. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, to speak to your wonderful audience and share my own story. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.